So I'll just start by asking Xynth to present me with a list of stocks that are found online, on Reddit, Twitter, or the web, that are mentioned to be undervalued. And we can see that it triggers our in-house web search, which allows it to scrape Twitter, Reddit, um, um, and the news articles. And by clicking into the citation beside each stock, we can see exactly what source brought up this ticker. Next, I want to see if these tickers are actually undervalued by analyzing their financial metrics. So I'll tell Xynth to go and grab the financial metrics for these tickers. It will write code to aggregate the database we have on all these tickers. I think we have over 4,000 tickers listed on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, and over 248 financial metrics. So here it was able to grab financial metric data for these tickers and not for those other ones, which were probably not on the exchanges that I mentioned. Here we can see that PE forward, PB ratio, PS ratios were grabbed for these tickers. And if we look at the code that it wrote to grab this, we can see exactly where it aggregated our database and executed this. Next, it also assigned a valuation score to each of these tickers. And it's not exactly clear how these valuation scores came about, but we can see that LPG comes out on top as the most undervalued stock. So I'm a little confused at this point how this valuation score came about. I can kind of figure it out by looking at the financial metrics here, but I think it will be easier just to ask Xynth directly to explain its thought process and how these metrics were calculated. So we can see here that Xynth will write more code to basically display a visual explaining exactly how each of these metrics affect the score that was assigned to each stock. On the bottom here, we have all the different financial metrics, and on the left, we have all the stock tickers. Claude 3.7 Sonnet is essentially able to leverage its financial knowledge is trained on to basically test the financial metric for each of these stocks and provided us a score based on that. If somebody did have more financial knowledge than myself, they can kind of tweak these tests by themselves. So, for example, maybe set the threshold for forward PE to be higher than 25, as it is currently set to 25, to be a certain to get a point for a stock. And we can see that LPG, SO, MVST, and SMCI came out on top. As a tech investor, I'm interested in the long-term potential of SMCI, so I'm going to ask it to basically conduct some technical analysis on SMCI and see if it has long-term potential. Xynth will use our financial APIs to grab the price data for SMCI and plot it on a chart and show it to me. And you can see that it did this relatively quickly and easily. But now I kind of want to see a more detailed technical analysis that includes technical indicators like Bollinger Bands, volume, and MACD data. We can see that Xynth is able to basically use Python code to use the Padness TA library in Python to calculate these technical indicators and mark trend areas. And here's the code that it wrote to do this for us. Lastly, I kind of want to see the long-term bird's eye view on SMCI. So I'm going to tell it to make me a dashboard that includes the financial metrics and basically gives it a stern rating on whether or not the stock is worth buying right now. And we can see that it is not. It's a sell and avoid signal that Xynth assigns it, and it cites all these different research metrics that we did on SMCI.